So I got gifted these pair for my 19th birthday. Yes, your boy's 19 now. You see, a couple of weeks ago, I bought Carlex, the YouTuber, his brand new trainers, Notwoways, and when they arrived, I actually decided to do a little unofficial photo shoot for them in my little studio that I've got going on in here. Basically, I've enjoyed that shoot. I enjoyed shooting something different, you know, because all the time I'm out there in the streets, but it's shooting product, doing it in the convenience of your home. It was actually quite fun. And today I want to do something similar, product photography of trainers. However, this time I want to do it creatively. Now, I don't really want to do your typical 15 to 20 photographs photo shoot. Instead, I want to focus on one single photograph, which includes both creativeness and product photography, and is low-key inspired by one of the YouTubers out there. I think at this point you do know that creator and what the photo is going to look like thanks to the title and thumbnail. So you've seen this photo, you know who it's inspired by. So let's go ahead and take this photo. Okay, so the plan is pretty simple. I'm looking to get either 1 or 2 photographs out of this concept. Scientifically speaking, this idea is only 96.992603 and 52% inspired from 7th era. So after spending some time thinking about this idea, researching similar concepts and drawing it on a piece of paper, I finally came to a conclusion. Before we get started, I just want to briefly say, yes you, stop looking around, I'm talking to you, mate. You right there need to subscribe to my channel right now. Like, you and I do know that you love your photography content, then why not go down below and subscribe? Like, you and I do know that you love photography content, then why not go and subscribe, eh? So I don't really want to hear any excuses no more, you better have subscribed. What's that you have? Right then, let's get on with the video. Okay, so to hang these shoes, I'm going to use some microphone stands that I've had laying around. The best thing is, these microphone holders that I had attached to the stand had this little hole where I fed my thread or wire, whatever you want to call this weird material. And after balancing these for quite some time, I managed to get them in the perfect place. But you see, there was this one little problem. Alright, slight change of plan. We might use the black wall and try to just have my hands instead of me in the background. Just because it doesn't really look nice with the 60mm, and that's the only fastest lens I've got because I want really good depth of field. When you consider all the factors together, it only makes sense to have my black wall as the background and have this blue light or probably this orange one shining on left or right. I'm going to still play around with the lighting and figure out what would be the best solution. But for now, as a director of photography, I've made a decision to actually ditch this idea and go with the black wall.
Rack it up, I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out.
Okay, that took far too long than I ever should have done. I've took about 68 photographs, and let's be honest, they were like a lot of burst mode included as well, and some stupid photos just to test them out. But overall, I think about 20-30 photos that were actually useful. And out of which, I chose 4 best ones. One is actually just behind the scene for Instagram, so technically it's just 3. So without further ado, here they are. Okay, so let's actually go through these photographs, starting with the first one, which is this. So the overall theme that I actually went with was Teal and Orange. In fact, this is the theme that's going to stay consistent throughout this shoot. So what started as this photograph, actually, this is the before, if it can load, and this is the after. Now, as you can see, the sliders on the right side, tones really depends on each individual photographs, different lighting scenario, different camera settings. But what you actually need to focus on is why I did what I did in the tone section. I basically wanted to preserve 90% of the highlights and leave 10% blown out so that I can have that lightening effect. Not lightning. I just wanted to show there was actually something really bright shining on the shoes. Otherwise, if I would have kept it down here, something like that, it would just look far too stale and boring. Next up was clarity. I bumped it up higher so that I can actually see each individual strand, so that I can bring out the texture. And I dehazed it a bit because without it, it just looks like this. I mean, it doesn't make a huge difference, but minor differences, especially in the black areas, is what makes a overall, you know, it adds on to the overall image. Similar thing going on in the tone curve. You see the bottom left one are the interesting one, the last 2. So I pushed up the darkest point of the photo a bit higher to introduce that fade, but then I pushed the shadows down even further just because it creates this nice gloomy darks. I don't know how to describe this because without it, this is how it would look. And with it, there's just this gloomy, dark effect that especially when it targets that specific black right here. I don't know, this is something that I really like, and yeah, it looks really sick on this photo. And the rest of it was pretty much just playing around with the colors and trying to get the teal and orange I wanted out of the photo. Oh, also, actually, I just realized one more thing. The thing that's actually keeping the shoe together at the top, I got rid of it by actually taking 3 different photographs of them being loose. Actually, what are these things called? These things right here, I don't know what they are for, actually. Do you actually hang your shoes like that? I should do some more research on these. But yeah, I let them a bit loose by holding them, as you can see. And then I photoshopped it later in Photoshop. It's pretty simple, isn't it? Similar thing is going on this photograph, but this time the idea is a bit changed, and I put my softbox bit closer to the shoe so that the colors are accurate this time. I just saw my pencil laying around and I was like, why not use it for the photo? And it actually looks sick, but the only complaint I do have is this pencil doesn't look really sharp, and that's because I'm using f1.4. The reason I actually used it that low was because I wanted the background, the black wall, to be really nice and soft and gloomy. It worked out in my favor, and I don't think it usually matters that pencil isn't really in focus. And lastly, this photograph, I mean, I don't know why, but I actually do really like this one too, probably because of the two-hand action going on here. Again, the same thing, I removed the loop from the top by using those extra photographs. And lastly, something that I applied on every single photo was the adjustment brush. Now you see, because there was too many lights going on, blue, teal, softbox and everything, it actually started to introduce a lot of different colors on these white sides and the white places of the shoe. And what I actually did, I went to the adjustment brush and painted over the shoes and reduced the saturation either to completely to 0 or somewhere about -40, where I actually do want to show some colors, you know, so that it actually fits the context. But yeah, overall for the adjustment brush, I reduced the saturation because there were just too many colors flying around in my shoes. And that's pretty much it, apart from obviously the behind the scene one. These 3 photos are the one that I chose out of the entire 70 photo batch. So, am I happy with it? Of course, yes. What would I do differently if I ever do it again? Well, you see, I wanted to go with my initial plan anyway. This one, the one I drew on the paper. I still want to do it, but the issue is the space, the physical space of this room is just far too small, especially for the lens that I really want to use. So, next time, maybe I'll try this outdoor at night when I have this neon light somewhere in the street and, you know, them shining on the shoes. I don't know, I'll try something new. But apart from that, today's shoot has been really successful. If you want to see full resolution photo, then head down to my Instagram at captured by Zohaib, and while you're there, maybe leave a follow and maybe DM me as well. I'll come and say hello to you. Just for your convenience, because I'm nice, I've left a link down below for my Instagram so that you don't have to write my complicated name in the search bar. And also, as I said before, do make sure you right there, mate, do subscribe to my channel if you're interested in photography. And with that all said, and I'm actually pretty sleepy now. It's like 12:30, well, near 12:30. I'm off to my bed. I shall see you on the next time. Oh, see, I can't even speak now because it's just too much. Have a good day, guys. Good night.